Hello, friends, and welcome to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. Today we find ourselves on the Blade's Edge, surrounded by the bodies of tech priests who came to arrest or terminate Pascal. Of course, we did not allow that to happen. Pascal did some very interesting and questionable things about dealing with this situation that caused Opticon 22 from Footfall to treat him with a new level of reverence. So I'm not really sure what happened there, but clearly Pascal is more than we have seen. We have our own theories about that, about possibly him being the Amarnot that he claims to revere, but we shall find out as we continue forward. Let's head back to the bridge and go do some more
Always
exploring,
keep your
shall
eye
we?
on the price.
This is Disabled. My name is Ed, and let's get into it. Alright, to the map. Do the map, do the map. Everything you know when you look at the map. Dargonus. We don't want to go there just yet. There was another solar system that we went to, but we did not enter. So let's enter in, shall we? Visit. See what's in here to find. We've got some planets to explore and scan. We have another white sun. Is that a white dwarf? I don't know. Begin scan. Scan it up. And dead wolf. Gas giant. Very nice. Scan it up. Another dead world, but this time one with an unexplored area, bones in the desert. After analyzing the auger data, the officers were surprised to discover that the planet was once covered with oceans. Long ago, an unknown cataclysm caused the seas to dry out and turn the world into a lifeless desert. The most amazing discovery of all was the skeletal remains of colossal oceanic organisms, some large enough to be seen from orbit. Life is fragile, even for creatures this enormous. Wow, that's cool. Looks like another lava world, fire planet, something like that. Scan it up. Yep, burning world. Where Argenta wants to bring heretics because she is insane. Scan it up. And a feral world, Savannah world, but considered to have nothing there that we can extract with our extractium? Interesting. Okay, well that was a wasted trip. Nothing there, but hey, did what we could, I guess. Back to Dargonus. I keep trying to put that off. I really don't want to do it, but here we are. So, enter Dargonus. Scan it up. What are these? Are those impact points? What the heck is that about? Why is that all? That's interesting. It looks like aerial bombardment impact points. I don't like that at all. Von Valencius Palace. Bring it in, boys. We will take the team as it currently is consisted. Yeah, let's make it happen. The Emperor protects. Welcome home, your lordship. The stately woman in a long full-dress uniform makes a graceful curtsy. Her short graying hair does not obscure her stern features. I am Clementia Wassarian, court chancellor of the von Valancius dynasty. On behalf of all of Dargonus, please accept my deepest condolences on the untimely passing of Theodora von Valancius. Her departure is a terrible blow to us all. But as one star expires, another always flares to life. And although still overcome with bitterness and grief, your subjects hope that you will become the trade dynasty's guiding light in these trying times. The young man quickly brings a respirator to his burnt face and bows his head courteously. His raven black hair veils his burns and skull implants, and his thin metal fingers creak quietly as he offers a welcoming gesture. Achilles Scalander, secretary at the administrative department. I hope your journey to Dargonus was not darkened by unwanted troubles. The Emperor protected us on our journey through the stars. Achilles makes the sign of the Aquila. And may he remain merciful to us till the end of time. Does your lordship wish to survey the grounds? Or perhaps we could sate your curiosity by answering any questions you might have. Governor Urban Drivestem has been notified of your arrival on Dargonus and will visit the palace shortly. The preparations for the official visit are well in hand, but your lordship still has plenty of time before the meeting. Hold a moment, Clementia. What did you say your last name was? Clementia nods politely. You heard correctly, your lordship. I am of House Wassarian, Lord Abelard's granddaughter and direct descendant. The succession of service is an effective good. It grants new generations understanding of their function within the mechanism. Why isn't the governor with you to greet me? Apologies, your lordship. Governor Drivestem's residence is on the other side of the planet, by the administrative palace of Dargonus. We sent word as soon as you entered the system, but it does take time to travel the great distances of your domain. So it takes longer for him to travel the length of the planet than it did for me to travel the length of the solar system? Huh. Chancellor Wassarian appears unruffled, but you cannot shake the thought that the governor's lateness is a subtle political gesture designed to test the limits of what is acceptable when it comes to interacting with the new rogue trader. Yeah, I already put that together, but thanks. I would like to rest before the meeting. Where are my chambers? They are very close, just down the hall. That is also where the study and the audience chamber are. Achilles' face brightens with a pearly white smile, restoring some of his former good looks. Lady Theodora's study has remained locked since her last departure, but on account of your arrival, we've arranged for it to be tidied up. It's ready whenever you may need it. You're dismissed? I apologize for my bluntness, but I have a request to make. Perhaps, before the meeting takes place, the illustrious Lord Captain could spare a few minutes for a conversation with me? Achilles bows his head. I'm certain that you'll find my report on the state of affairs in the von Valancius Protectorate most useful. We need to speak to Achilles, apparently. Some wardens about. Augurator Tech Priest. What's he got going on? As you approach, the Lex Mechanic subtly bows his head while continuing to emit Banaric trills. Oh, Irliet. So my people are stationed around, I suppose? Interesting. Janus Messengers? Head of Janus Delegation. Let's go have a chat, shall we? The Janus Delegation salute you, your lordship. Thank you, small child voice. Not sure why I chose that one in the moment, but it's what popped out of my mouth, so cool, cool, cool. Apparently Janus is full of children these days. Shady character. I want to talk to the shady character. Hello, shady character. What a lovely day it is, your lordship. Your presence only makes it better. That's because you're shady, and it's sunny outside. Hey, it's Chai. What do you know? What's intriguing? Hey, I can toss a coin to the Witcher. Cool, 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 cool. Toss a coin. Glinting in the light, the coin falls into the clear water and sinks to the bottom. I can collect goods. Maybe, maybe not. Oh, there are the goods. Sorry. That's got to be worth more than a coin, eh? Eh? I don't know anything about these coins of which you speak. I've never actually had to use one. Head of Kiavagama's delegation. Well, let's have a chat with them. See if they want to attack Pascal while we're here. May the Omniziah bless the Von Valencia's dynasty. Thank you. Got some aristocrats, some noble folk. Oh. More in this direction. We have the whole town, apparently, that we can go check out. Augurator Tech Priests, if that's a thing that you're into. More wardens. Glory to the great rogue trader. Well, thank you, warden. You didn't know I existed until yesterday, but sure. A trophy, eh? Interesting. Wardens. Ooh, they're guarding something. What are we guarding, gentlemen? Lady? The plaque lists the names of each rogue trader to have led the Von Valencius dynasty, dating back to the day the capital world was founded. Okay. Aristocrats everywhere. Servitor. Hello, Servitor. Mundus Valencius, Voidship Bridge. Okay, well, we don't want to go anywhere just yet. Let's head back and actually go where we're supposed to be going. Go meet with, the boy with the burned face. Sounds like the title of a book. The Boy with the Burned Face. Written by the man without a burned face. Bum, bum, bum. Okay. Moving on up. Von Valencia's palace. Hello, adventurers. It's me, Silky. Aristocrat, warden. Aristocrat. Oh. Welcome, your lordship. Let me inform you of the location of the chambers on your dynastic estate. Thank you, warden. The main throne room's up the stairs and straight ahead. Your subject, Achilles Scalander, informed me he humbly awaits the opportunity to meet with you there. If your lordship wishes to rest after your long journey, your personal chambers are up the stairs and to the right. Thank you, warden. Yes, point your finger. That's very helpful. If you need anything, whatever your soul desires, I'll be right next to your chambers, eagerly awaiting your orders. Appreciate you, Goma. Well, let's go talk to Achilles, and then we'll go check out our chambers. Your lordship. Oh, straight ahead upstairs, I guess, maybe? Doodly-doo-doo-doo. Ah, yes, the throne room. Hello. Where is my throne? Adira. What's up, Adira? So everybody's here. The Von Valancius dynasty throne, a visible symbol of the rogue trader's power, which now belongs to you. Yes. There's Clementia. Your lordship. Clementia bows her head politely. For a chancellor to a rogue trader, she's dressed rather simply. A parade doublet, polished boots, and a comfortable cloak. She bears a saber in a gilded scabbard. Whether for show or protection, one could not say. Only her ring with the Rosarian coat of arms indicates she's of the highest social stratum. The governor is waiting on the periphery of the palace. Please let me know when you would like to see him. Oh, I'll let you know. The sharp gaze, the impeccably straight back, the composure. For a brief moment, you feel like you're looking at a younger version of Abelard himself, not his heir. Judging by the scars on the exposed parts of her body, Clementia saw her fair share of combat prior to assuming the position of chancellor. What can you tell me about Dargonus, Clementia? All deals and important decisions are made here in the capital. Many years ago, an ancestor of Lady Theodora signed an agreement with the Adeptus Administratum, which allowed for efficient management of the world and the neighboring systems. In accordance with the decree, a share of the planet's population was assigned to the Administratum and converted into servitor scribes. They now toil across the entire planet. Dargonus is also the seat of several noble families who run all the major planets in the Protectorate. If I may express my not-so-humble opinion, they care very little about who exactly stands at the helm. Those piranhas think about their own profits just as much as they do about the prosperity of the Protectorate itself, if not more. And lastly, Dargonus has its own fleet, a luxury unavailable to the vast majority of other worlds in your realm. In addition to warships, the Protectorate also employs privateer ships, which are used to transport cargo between worlds. Does the capital stay in direct contact with the other worlds in the Protectorate? Unfortunately, not at this time, your lordship. After the few representatives of the Adeptus Astra Telepathica on Dargonus went into a frenzy, some of the psychers were tragically pacified by the respective authorities. Since then, communication with the neighboring systems has been unreliable at best. Thanks be to the Master of Mankind that you managed to find your way to the capital. If the noble houses are so volatile, what sense is there in keeping them? Over the many centuries, an intricate hierarchy has formed within the ruling elite of Dargonus. The great houses do more than plunder your treasury. It is replenished to a large degree thanks to their administrative work and their lands. Naturally, you can get rid of anyone whom you consider surplus to requirements, but right now, it could threaten the fragile stability currently holding the Protectorate together. Any other issues I should be aware of? Apart from the disrupted communications, Dargonus was recently raided by enemies of humanity. However, the fleet, under the command of Captain Marthius Bessarion, triumphed over the accursed Xenos. If you ask for my opinion on this matter, we have the situation completely under control. You catch her avoiding your gaze for just a moment. For the first time. It's obvious that Clementia is looking out for her house's good name, but despite the confidence in her tone, you can tell she does not entirely believe her own words. Tell me about Governor Drivestem. Ben Drivestem is a well-respected man, and not just on Dargonus, but throughout the Protectorate. For many centuries, his house has supported the capital's administration and the logistics between the Von Valancius systems. The Drivestem's efforts secured years of order and prosperity for Dargonus. What's more, Lady Theodora personally insisted that Lord Urban specifically be made the next governor. The way you speak of Drivestem, I hear a hint of either contempt or resentment. No, I don't believe I feel either, your lordship. Clementia's steely eyes stare into the distance, her jaw clenching visibly. She speaks in a polite but clipped manner, clearly flustered by your insight. We have different views on how to run a world. We sometimes have discussions over the laws that are enacted, but we both work for the good of the von Valancius Protectorate. That much can be said without a doubt. Thank you for the report, Chancellor. I serve the von Valancius Protectorate, your lordship. Achilles Scalander. Does he cause you any problems? Why, none at all, your lordship. Secretary Scalander is an outstanding individual and a loyal servant of the von Valancius dynasty. In Lady Theodora's absence, we collaborated on a number of issues related to the well-being of your domain, and he has proven himself quite capable. And I don't know why, but even the governor trembles before Achilles, which is unusual for a man of his, shall we say, standing. The last word brings a slight smile to her lips. Is the governor short? Are we making a short joke? Clementia, that's beneath you. Wah, wah. The governor can wait a bit longer. I still have matters to take care of. Certainly, your lordship. However, her thin lips twist slightly, I do not concern myself with the governor's feelings, but I must warn you, your action or inaction may be interpreted a certain way. Now, if your lordship will excuse me. Indeed. Most happily. Where's Aquilius? Aquilius, where are you? Did you not wish to see me here? Where have you gone? Where did you run to? Ah, demolition. Yes, I am blowing up things in my own throne room. What of it? Who's got something to say? You? 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 No. Very good. Aquilius. There's Abelard. Abelard, I met your heir. Quite interesting. Greetings, your lordship. Ah, there's Achilles talking to Heinrichs. Well, that's not putting you in my good graces, let me tell you. Pardon me, Heinrichs, you loser. The slender figure, clad in robes made from expensive fabric, shudders from violent coughing. Pressing a gilded respirator to his face, the man takes several deep breaths. Achilles, it's been many moons. I hope your cousin is feeling well. Achilles covers his burnt lips, trying and failing to suppress a coughing fit. She is in good health. She sends her regards to you, as well as her wishes for your swift return. Wait, what? Achilles, is Heinrichs dating your cousin? Heinrichs frowns. For as long as the stars shine in the sky, my vigil continues. Oh, Heinrichs, you and your lost love. So it does. Achilles thumps himself on the chest with his augmented hand. You hear the clanging of metal against metal. Do you two mind? My apologies, Gladius. Given the break in the communications between systems in the Expanse, it has become difficult to maintain contact with agents. Receiving this report and assessing the situation is my primary responsibility. Heinrichs looks at Achilles. Allow me to introduce Achilles Scalander properly. In addition to his duties as Secretary of the Administratum, he acts as an agent of the Golden Throne under my aegis. Master Scalander was transferred into my remit by a colleague who is engaged in other matters in the Coronis Expanse. I'm sure you will find Achilles' service useful, especially when dealing with the schemes of humanity's foes within the borders of your protectorate. Greetings, Lord Gladius von Valancius. Allow me once again to express my deepest condolences on the loss of Lady Theodora. I will do everything I can to track down and destroy all of Kunrad Voigtvir's accomplices on the capital world. Do you know anything about what's become of Kunrad Voigtvir? The former Master of Whispers is a heretic and a traitor to the dynasty. Achilles nods grimly. Word of his treason reached Dargonus too late. Kunrad came to the planet and left it almost immediately. Once he had sown discord in the minds of the gullible and naive, of course.
The worst of the rumors he started was that you were the one responsible for Lady Theodora's sudden demise. Of course, your loyal subjects did their best to skin alive any who showed signs of doubt, but it seems unlikely the warden's got everyone who has allowed doubt into their heart and now nurtures it in secret.
You promised me a report on the present state of affairs in the Protectorate. But first, what are your responsibilities here on Dargonus?
Officially, I'm a secretary at this world's administrative department. Less officially, I'm afraid I can't disclose that even to you. In short, I collect and investigate reports of heresy taking root on upstanding planets of humanity. Above all else, I'm concerned about the Xenos threat that hangs over the entire Coronis expanse, including your protectorate, sir. Sadly, my mission was complicated by the recent warp disturbances. I'm still trying to re-establish contact with many of my agents in the field.
Xenos, you say? Tell me about it.
The residents of the local systems are no strangers to skirmishes with enemies of humanity, but recently the loathsome beasts seem to have completely flown off the handle. We're receiving reports from ships that made it through the warp to Dargonus. Both they and the colonies they departed from are being attacked. We've identified the breed of Xenos that posed the threat, the Drukari, humanity's ancient and insidious foes. Be vigilant on your travels. The Xenos will undoubtedly attack a rogue trader's ship should they find the circumstances to be in their favor. Unfortunately, in the host of humanity, there are those willing to grovel before our enemies in the hopes of a valuable reward. You may be interested to know that we are on the trail of such heretics.
Achilles glances at a data slate.
Overwhelming evidence indicates a plundered void station in Langren's Belt is being used as a base by a band of pirates who are not above dealing with Xenos. I was unable to persuade the chancellor of the need to dispatch a ship there, but perhaps you would like to pay a courtesy call to these scoundrels yourself.
Do you know anything about the cult of the Final Dawn?
My knowledge is deplorably limited, your lordship. All my attention has been focused on tracking Xenos activity. I'm certain that Master von Calix can tell you much more about those heretics than I.
About your unofficial work. Achilles' amber eyes flash with interest.
Yes?
Whom do you truly serve, Achilles? Me, or the interrogator of the Inquisition? Achilles quickly glances at Heinrichs.
And whom does the rogue trader serve? The Golden Throne? The Protectorate? Could it be that one stems from the other? And if so, is there any sense in discussing it?
I've learned all I wanted. Achilles bows and brings the respirator to his burnt lips. I do have other questions to ask.
I sincerely hope I can answer every one of them.
You promised me a report on the present state of affairs in the Protectorate.
I've already forwarded all official reports to your seneschal. As for the conversation we're having right now, I wouldn't trust any paper or data slate with its contents. You see, Lady Theodora, may the Emperor have mercy on her soul, was perfectly aware of Dargonus' political environment. You, however, have only just arrived on the capital world, and I thought it would be best to bring you up to speed. Frankly, the nobles of Dargonus, much like nobles on most worlds I imagine, are akin to spiders in a jar, ready to pounce on whomever is weakest, or whomever they deem to be weakest. The nobles of Dargonus are well-respected, rich, and powerful individuals who held Lady Theodora's favor for many years, and found ways to rise above the rest by diligently serving the rogue trader. Every family pursues its own selfish interests. Each expects that with the transition of power, they will retain and even add to their lands and wealth. The families I would recommend giving particular attention to are the Drivestems, the Gapraks, and the Sauerbachs. I should also mention the Rosarians. Not a noble house per se, but a family that was part of Lady Theodora's inner circle, to the Blue Blood's great displeasure.
Tell me about the Drivestems.
The Drivestems are the ancient governor house of Dargonus. Predictably, the greater the wealth of the von Valancius Protectorate, the fuller their coffers grow. Their reputation is flawless except for one small detail. We have evidence that urban Drivestem's rivals seem to have the misfortune of regularly falling victim to Xenos raids. I find that these attacks are always a little too advantageous for the Drivestems, but we lack solid proof, and it may never surface. The closer an official is to a rogue trader, the braver and safer they feel. I would just like to remind everyone that rubbing shoulders with Xenos is a heresy that can be overlooked only in the case of the von Valancius heir, not his servant. Thank you, Heinrichs. I always appreciate your little addendums. What would you say makes the Gaprax special? The Gaprax hail from a remote forge world, and among their distant relatives there are many servants of the Omnissiah, and the house itself is close to the cult of the Adeptus Mechanicus, both in spirit and in business connections. The Gaprax oversaw the industrial shipments within your protectorate, till recently. Ever since the astropathic communication with Kiava Gamma was severed, they've been quite concerned about the security of the planet placed in their care. Tell me about House Sourback. Religious and hard-working. The Sourbacks own many enterprises, including distillation manufactorums that produce promethium. I must note that lately members of the Sourback family have been prone to overly liberal statements about the von Valancius dynasty. They believe that Lady Theodora was a bit too keen to leave her worlds without proper oversight. Tell me of the Rosarians. The Rosarians are a line founded by Lady Theodora's seneschal, and as such are nominally considered nobility, at least from the standpoint of the Imperial Navy, from which Lord Abelard hails. On Dargonus, however, their position is precarious. Firstly, they never were granted an official title, a process which has been impeded for decades by the old houses of Dargonus, and secondly, the other families do not see them as equals, but more upstarts clinging to the rogue trader's favor. The Rosarians are responsible for the capital world's fleet and the majority of the cargo shipments on domestic routes. Enough about the nobles. Was there anything else you needed to report? There was, your lordship, and this time it concerns the main reason for my presence on this planet. Xenos and the threat they pose both to you and to humanity as a whole. The last few months have been difficult for the people who report to me. My eyes and ears scattered throughout the Coronis expanse. Warp disturbances, astropaths overcome with madness, ships disappearing in the immaterium. Many of my observers and contacts have gone dark or have been killed by some calamity or other. Still, I managed to establish communication with some key individuals who were able to warn me about incoming threats, including Xenos raids. Kilius looks you in the eye without blinking. It is within my power to supply you with intelligence on where and when the Xenos will strike next. I do not doubt that Governor Drivestem will beg you for protection against the Xenos, and in this fight, the information from my contacts will serve you well. I beseech you, Gladius, if I ever report a threat looming over a ship or a planet, do not dismiss it. Sometimes it takes an intervention from the rogue trader and his mighty void ship to avert a disaster. So I am going to ask this question, but I want to preface my asking of it with a little personal anecdote. As you probably have assumed based on the name of my channel, I am disabled. Personally, I have a neurological condition. It is genetic and it is degenerative. It affects me currently from the waist down only, so my legs, knees, ankles, everything is weakening isn't the right word. If you do muscle testing on me, I'm still very strong, but the communication isn't there, and so my ability to move correctly is not right. I don't necessarily always know where I am in space, and so I have to walk with a cane at the moment. Though because my condition is degenerative, that is getting more problematic for me, and I'm probably going to have to move to a walker of some kind, or possibly even move into a wheelchair for any extensive movement. Like walking around the house I can still do with a cane without a problem, but like walking in the community is becoming harder and harder.
Anyway, the reason I bring all that up, not to talk about myself that much, but because when people see me, they see a middle aged man who is in relatively good shape. I have the fortune of being able to go to the gym regularly, and I've tried to build strength in my upper body to make up for the lack of strength in my lower body, so that I can move around as freely as possible with my condition that I have. And so, people see me and just looking at me, if I'm seated, you would think that I'm a perfectly healthy middle-aged man and, fully capable. And then when they see me get up or try to walk, jaws drop. And I see the looks on their faces, but people don't engage on the topic. And they're trying to be polite, and I totally get that. But I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I've got a touch of autism, and so I don't do well with small talk anyway. And I don't really like people who don't ask questions about my situations. Like, it's clear that you're curious. I see in your body language, I see on your face that you want to know what's going on. And by turning me into a curiosity, I've become a thing. If you just ask me what is happening, then we can have a conversation and I'm a human. So that matters to me on a personal level. But I wanted to clarify why I'm going to ask him about the scars on his face, because if it were me, I would want to be asked. Because I know you see them, I know they're not hidden, I know that you're aware of them, and that you're curious if you don't already know why they're there. So please ask. We can have a conversation about it, and now I am a human, I am a person, and I am no longer a curiosity, which I do not care to be. So, Achilles, the scars on your face. What happened?
About, he coughs, 5 years ago, there was an accident. Several tanks of promethium exploded in the storehouse at my estate, and I was buried alive under the rubble. The Emperor preserved my soul, and the skilled physicians of Dargonus saved my body, except for my lungs, with which I had to part. I presume the incident was an attempt on my life, but the identity of whoever was behind it remains a mystery.
I must take my leave. Achilles bows.
According to the message I received a few minutes ago, Governor Drivestem has arrived at court. I imagine that the chancellor is already prepared to arrange the meeting. All that's left is to notify her that you're ready to see Urbend.
Okay. Well, let's go tell her we are ready to talk to Drivestem Urbend. Urbend Drivestem.
Your lordship, Governor Drivestem is waiting in the audience hall. I advise you to respond to his lateness in kind. That way you can let Urbend know that his behavior has not gone unremarked. But I would not delay too long. Right now, the court is closely observing your every step.
Tell them I'm ready to see the governor. Clementia bows before leaving.
I shall arrange for him to be escorted to your study.
Thank you, Clementia. 2 hours later. Ah, dude's burly. Look at that. That is not a small man. I thought maybe he would be short, but no, when she said a man of his standing, she meant he was monstrous big. Look at that. Hello, buddy. Gladius von Valancius, 20th in his line, rogue trader, keeper of the sacred warrant, and ruler of the Coronis expanse from the Cranach system to the 100 Dreams crossroads. I bid you welcome, sir. Urbend Drivestem, governor of this great world. First and foremost, please accept my deepest condolences. It will be difficult to recover from the loss of a woman as great as Theodora von Valancius. It pains me to think that she is no longer with us. The citizens of Dargonus and of the entire Protectorate grieve alongside you. Please allow us to declare half a year of mourning, so we can honor the memory of our beloved lady. The governor glances at Cabela anxiously, then immediately averts his gaze. Then looks at her again, but when Cabela lets out a grim chuckle and stretches her lips, daubed in fresh blood, into a petrifying grin, the governor turns away from her sharply, all but squealing in fear. What's wrong, pig man? Theodora von Valancius deserves more than half a year, sir. You will declare a full year of mourning. I will immediately give all necessary instructions, your lordship. He casually presses a few buttons on the cogitator built into his gold bracer. Esteemed Gladius, Lady Theodora was a strong leader, and we ought to follow her example. Let us lean on our wisdom and persevere in spite of this tragedy, together. And let us carry on where she no longer can by leading the von Valancius Protectorate to even greater prosperity. Drivestem gives you a look of admiration. It seems that he's quite aware of your fame, and this opportunity to curry favor with such an eminent figure is one he does not wish to miss. Alas, it won't be an easy task to accomplish. Some time ago, the Astropaths of Dargonus flew into a rage, and they had to be subdued. We are gradually restoring our ability to speak with neighboring worlds, but the contacts are still weak, and the roots are tangled and no longer lead to the systems that the captains expect them to. Given that the vast majority of ships in the Dargonus Navy travel without relying on the services of navigators, without your engagement, the well-being of the von Valancius dynasty and billions of its subjects is presently at risk. We met a ship from Dargonus not too long ago. The crew was transporting a strange artifact and went mad during the flight. This is a truly regrettable bit of news. What's more, leaving Dargonus has been forbidden for several cycles now. It seems the Rosarian family has once again failed in their primary responsibilities. He shoots Abelard a condescending look. Oh, buddy. Oh, disrespecting Abelard is not going to get you far in my eyes, pal. We will investigate this at once, as well as the fact that the ship had to acquire a permit with the Administratum seal. Does your nephew still serve at the Administratum Palace, Governor? The governor presses a number of buttons on the cogitator built into his bracer and looks up at you in surprise. I don't understand. The ship did indeed depart from orbit, but it did so, if you can believe it, on the rogue trader's authorization. That is why no one dared to impede its departure. Funny how you're figuring that out now after saying disparaging things about poor Abelard and his family. Lord Captain, it would seem that Coonrad somehow got his hands on a copy of your authorization, or perhaps even the original. A tool like that in the hands of a traitor does not bode well. Coonrad Voigtveer, former Master of Whispers, is a heretic and a traitor. Has he shown his face on Dargonus, Governor? The governor pensively strokes the rings glittering on his fingers. Lord Voigtveer visited the capital some time ago, but he did not request a personal meeting. Heretic, you say? Now I see where all the whispering in the corridors has come from. I shall be frank with you, your lordship. Lady Theodora's sudden death was a blow to every one of us. The absence of any sort of verifiable or complete information about her successor gives grounds for all manner of rumors and misinterpretations, especially if someone's deliberately inciting unrest and discontent. Naturally, none would dare challenge you by accusing you of something as sacrilegious as murdering a rogue traitor. However, Coonrad Voigtveer was once a true boon to the Protectorate back in the day, and as such, some might heed his words. My subjects' doubts are understandable. Too many things have changed in too short a span. I will prove myself worthy of my position. Why, Gladius, your desire is most commendable, but please do not forget, a ruler should never bow to their attendants, or some might see it as a show of weakness. Thank you for telling me how to do my job, Governor. What exactly do the Dargonus nobility expect from me in light of the loss of roots and communication with other worlds? We are all troubled by the fate of the Agri world Janus that supplied Dargonus and other planets with foodstuffs. Empty stomachs can drive even the mildest rabble to revolt, sir.
Furthermore, House Gaprak is perturbed by the loss of communication with the industrial world Kiava Gamma, which is in their charge. But if you wish to know my opinion, the world that deserves your attention the most is the penal world VBOS 6, one of the key mining suppliers in your protectorate. Such intriguing concern for the VBOS 6 outpost. Doesn't your house happen to own the extraction stations there? Drivestem's beady eyes widen in fear. Your lordship, I beg of you, do not interpret my words as an attempt to influence your decisions in any way. You see, without VBOS 6, the manufactorums on your worlds will need to make haste to find new suppliers elsewhere and arrange for new shipment. And in these troubling times, they run the risk of delays and other most tragic mishaps. My only concern is for the prosperity of the Von Valancius dynasty. I've already visited the Agri world, Janus. Governor Viat found herself facing a number of problems in my absence. Truly? The Viat line is one of the oldest in the Von Valancius protectorate. If the inheritor of such well-respected blood could not handle whatever had befallen her, then the situation must have been extraordinary indeed. Vastenza succumbed to worshipping the ruinous powers and was executed. Drivestem pales in terror. It is clear from the unseemly grimace on his aristocratic countenance that his fear is not feigned. Ruinous powers? Truly horrifying news. I commend your resolve and unwavering severity. Death to the enemies of humanity! Well, that's it for planets and trade routes. What else? Xenos, your lordship. I don't rightly know where to begin. He rubs the bridge of his nose wearily. Otherworldly beasts are not an uncommon sight in the Coronis expanse. They've been a menace to the worlds this side of the Maw for decades. But now those abominations are on the rampage. They show no signs of fear as they attack ships, either damaging them to the point where they become unfit for transport duty or outright gutting them. Only you have the power to stop this madness. We are in the process of restoring the astropathic choir of Dargonus. Luckily, we were forced to slay only some of the deranged psychers, although those that remain are as yet unable to transmit messages. I hope Master Scalander will keep his word and offer you his support in the war against the Xenos. According to his reports, the region of Vabos 6 has been a particular concern in the last few cycles, which is all the more reason to discover the colony's fate as soon as possible. Now, to issues on a smaller scale. There is a certain degree of tension in the capital due to the unorthodox succession to the Sacred Warrant. Chances of uprisings are minimal, of course, and the spreading of rumors is nothing but a sign of weakness of mind and spirit. Nonetheless, I have prepared a list of minor houses that have demonstrated unseemly discomposure at your succession. What is to be done about them?
Command the spinners of the blood-spun web, and they will set a fine snare of retribution, Domin Gladius. We will whisper names, and that whisper will drown out insolent voices.
Eliminate the most prominent malcontents, quietly, but do not threaten entire families. Hopefully these steps will be enough to keep the rest from causing any more trouble. Once your lordship's wrath descends upon the guilty, have no doubt there won't be a soul on Dargonus willing to share their fate. And one last thing, your lordship. Your inauguration as bearer of the Sacred Warrant is but a matter of time, and I would like to inquire about a crucial detail. I imagine you are intending to uphold the centuries-old tradition, bolstered by an equally long-lasting friendship, of being represented on Dargonus by one of the noble houses. I presume that, as before, this duty will be accorded to House Drivestem. One moment. Which houses can represent me at the ceremony? Any of the noble houses located on Dargonus. The Drivestem family, which I lead, the Gaprak family with long ties to the Adeptus Mechanicus, the Saubaks, known for their piety and diligence in service. Perhaps I should also mention the Viserians, who have some influence, but who are not actually of noble origin. Any of these houses would be honored to represent you at the ceremony.
My initial instinct is to give the honor to the Wissarian family because of Abelard and his service, but that's only because he's on my ship. I know him personally, and he has helped me personally. That doesn't mean that these other nobles have not been doing their jobs and providing a service to me, albeit unbeknownst to them of who I was, but to my dynasty and making everything work to the best of their ability. So at the moment, I will say there is no need to alter any traditions. The dynasty will be represented by House Drivestem. I never doubted your lordship's decision. I can tell that the future holds a fruitful partnership for us, and prosperity for all Dargonus. I shall immediately relay all your orders, most gracious rogue trader. May the gold of the throne illuminate your path. I would like to complete my inauguration as rogue trader as soon as possible. When is the ceremony? I am afraid that until you deal with pressing issues, the ceremony will have to be postponed. Many trade routes are still unavailable, the central worlds of the Von Valences Protectorate are going through a crisis, and the warp disturbances, if void observers are to be believed, will prevent important guests from reaching the capital. Tell me about yourself and House Drivestem. It would be my pleasure to enlighten you, sir. My house is the oldest and most respected on Dargonus. My ancestors walked side by side with yours for many generations as they cared for this world's welfare. Our duty is to supervise the governing bodies within the system subservient to you, and we are responsible for the Protectorate's logistics and economic stability. As for me personally, I am a humble servant of the Emperor and a loyal subject of the Rogue Trader, and to my great pleasure I had the honor of calling myself Lady Theodora's close friend. At Urban's last words, Abelard lets out a sound that could be interpreted as either a snort or a cough. Urban gives him a look, which Abelard meets with an expression of utter nonchalance. That will be all, I take it? Thank you for your time, your lordship. Since duty calls, I shall take my leave. May the Emperor's grace be with you. Okay. My personal chambers. Let's have a look-see about. This antique piece of furniture is obviously well cared for, but its surface is still covered with a lot of scuffs, scratches, and stains, traces of the previous rogue traders who sat at this table. Goods, me goods, me goods, me goods. What? Why are there locked thingies in my room? Multa Melta, a ranged heavy weapon. Interesting. I just leveled up by blowing up a safe in my room. I love this game. Okay. The cogitator is producing rhythmic sounds, among which a faint ringing stands out. Ring-a-ding-ding, fling-a-ling-a-ching. Goods.
What do we have here?
More goods. At last, we see each other plain. I need those boots. The breeze catches the same. Whenever the wearer moves through a cell occupied by an enemy, the wearer gains plus 15% dodge against that enemy's attacks until the wearer's next turn. Interesting. I do a lot of that. Moving back and forth, between enemies. I like to provoke attacks of opportunity, not because it's something I should be doing, but merely because it's something I cannot seem to stop myself from doing. The leather covers bear the names of the authors, mostly philosophers and theologians from Dargonus. The spines of the books are trimmed with gold. Cool, 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 cool. There is a faint mark on the polished mantelpiece, which was likely left by a glass. Well. Theodora, Left a glass up there, probably wine or whatnot. All right, folks, we are on Dargonus. We have spoken to the speakers, we have talked to the governor and the chancellor and the spy. We have much more to do here, still getting Dargonus underfoot, but it seems like it's going to be more of a staging area to help us do other things. I'm sure there's a quest here that was going to play out, but we have not uncovered it yet. But I think that we'll need to get into all of that next time. This has been Disabled. My name is Ed, and this has been the wonderful Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, as that helps me out tremendously. But truly, until we see each other again, make your way with love and light. Thank you so much for joining me on our journey today, and goodbye.